Well, hello, my fellow data crunchers. I am absolutely pickled, delighted, aroused to be sharing upon you the secret nectar of the gods, the exact Shopify apps that pro dropshippers use to make millions. Now, disclaimer, 99% of the time when I work with e-commerce brands at my done-for-you agency, Blue Ocean Digital, which if you are interested in working with an agency that knows how to do winning product research, build websites, and also create winning ads on TikTok to help you scale to $1,000 a day or more, you can actually click the link down below and book a call. But when I do work with e-commerce brands, without a shadow of a doubt, a lot of the biggest issues I notice is that they are doing way too much things with their homepage, with their product pages, with the apps that they're using. And most of the times, if you want to increase your conversion rate, less is more. Because when you try to jam as many Shopify apps as humanly possible into your website, that hurts the most important metric when you're doing TikTok ads, and that is your site speed. People on TikTok expect everything to be lightning fast. So the more code you have on your website through downloading more apps, the more time it takes to load your Shopify store. So for me personally, I would like to narrow down your Rolodex of apps to about 8 to 10 max. So we're going to explain all the categories of apps that you need, ones that are optional, ones that are must-haves, and really break down what are the best options for fulfilling those different needs. So if you want to succeed with dropshipping, you really need to focus on limiting the amount of apps you use, but you are going to need apps for these variety of categories. First off, the supplier integration app for fulfilling orders. So Dsers, Cjdropshipping, where you just create an account, you connect it to their platforms, you import the products onto your store, easily fulfill them. Then you're going to need a custom page builder like GemPages or Shogun, where you can literally customize it exactly to your heart's content and do a variety of split tests. That's the most important part, so that you can increase your conversion rate by maybe split testing the positioning of your add to cart, the color of your add to cart, or split testing having your social proof from the bottom all the way to the top of your product page, or split testing different product images. You always have to have something where you can easily customize, and with basic Shopify themes, they're just not that customizable. Then after that, you're going to need something that can help you recover those abandoned carts, which is going to be email and SMS apps. After that, I would recommend having an upsell app too, so you can increase your AOV. So I personally recommend post-purchase upsells. Pre-purchase upsells, I'm not a big fan of, because the more steps you give to people, the lower the conversion rate's going to be. Then you're going to need a review app so that you can increase the social proof, have testimonials that back up the major benefits of your product. Then you're also going to need a split testing app like Neat A/B testing to split test different prices and sending half of your traffic to one landing page, half of your traffic to another landing page. I mean, you can also split test without having apps like that if you are on a bit of a budget, but I would also recommend a website speed optimizing app that can compress your images, make your site load faster, because man, that is such a big lever that you can really control to increase your conversion rate without really having to do anything else. Now, I want to start this video with two optional apps real quick, which is Best Currency Converter and Sticky Add to Cart Button Pro. Now, why are these apps optional? Aren't these something that is obviously going to be necessary? If I'm advertising international, people need to have their currency change from whatever the native currency is on the Shopify store to their native currency, because if it's in USD and I'm advertising to Europe or Latvia or Antarctica, I don't know how we can change that to Antarctican dollars. And yes, I would recommend that if you are advertising internationally to have a currency converting app. Best Currency Converter, I feel like, is the best one out there. I mean, it's in the name, for God's sake, and it costs about $10 a month. But for me personally, I always advertise the United States, and because of that, I don't want to add that extra code onto my theme. It's just going to lower the site speed score. So for me, I don't actually use that. Now, another optional app is a Sticky Add to Cart app. Now, I know in theory, a Sticky Add to Cart app makes a ton of sense. So when someone scrolls down to the reviews section, or when they scroll down to a certain section, they can easily click the Buy Now button once they are ready to purchase, instead of having to scroll all the way up. However, I have noticed through my split testing, the one downside of having these apps is that it covers a lot of the details on your product page, because it covers usually 10, 20, sometimes 30% of the screen on some iPhones and Androids out there. And that can be very annoying for people, and that can lower your conversion rate. So I would recommend knowing what your baseline conversion rate is, whether that's 1.5%, 2%. And then once you know that number, then try out the Sticky Add to Cart app to see, after about a week or two of testing. I always will do split tests usually for 2 weeks, or until I get 1,000 sessions. So I have a statistically significant amount of numbers and viewers and conversions to understand if this has actually made a positive impact or a negative impact. And the reason why it's 2 weeks is because if you only analyze your split test over a day,
I mean, so many different things can happen. It could be a Thursday and people haven't gotten paid yet. Then you implement the split test on a Friday and oh, well, people got paid. So they're naturally going to buy more. And then there's certain weeks in the year that just do better than others. And there's certain weeks that don't do super well. So I typically like to do split tests over a 2-week period. That is enough data for me, or at least until I get 1,000 sessions. So with Sticky Add to Cart Button Pro, how do you actually use it? Well, they have 2 different settings. They got the desktop, they got the mobile, super fancy. Now I'm just going to focus on the mobile version because 90% of your traffic is going to come from mobile. Now, when it comes to this, I mean, you can customize it however you want. Personally, I like the bar color to be white. I like these exact settings. This is pretty much exactly how I do it with the colors, showing the price. I like to show the compare at price. Scrolling on down, I do like to have some urgency. I'm a big urgency junkie. I would even consider doing that this offer expires in only 10 minutes. I mean, we've all done it. It works pretty well. Now, when it comes to animations, I'm not a big fan of animations on the Sticky Add to Cart. I think it's already annoying enough to have it on screen. So personally, I would just stick with this settings and you're good to go. Now, when it comes to integrating your suppliers, I recommend Cjdropshipping and Dsers as already mentioned. Now, I know I've had some people say, Ethan, can you make a full tutorial on how to use Dsers? And I'd rather die, or even worse, become a full-time TikToker than make a tutorial on Dsers. It's just so boring. But real quick, I will show you how to import a product using both of these tools. Now, with Dsers, it's pretty simple. You just grab the link of the AliExpress supplier that you have. You're going to go into import list just like this. Click on this, import the URL, click on OK, and bada bing, bada boom, your new product is right here. Now, you want to edit the product. Obviously, make sure you have the title, you're selecting the right images. You can go right here to select all of the images that you want. So maybe I want this one right here. That one looks pretty cool. Or if you don't want a certain image, you can just easily click the garbage. Now, with variants, same thing. You can select which variants you want and which ones you don't. Now, deleting them is kind of a pain in the butt. It just takes a lot of time for me, but you can easily delete them just like this. And then when it comes to the price, let's say I want to sell these for $24.99. These are some pretty cool shades, actually. So we'll do $24.99, just like this, and then copy and paste it into all of the other variants. And then product title, you can just obviously customize this however you want. So you want to do blue light glasses. Obviously, that's not a very good name. I would always try to have a branded product name. And if you're wondering how to come up with branded product names, I personally use tools like Business Name Generator. I will look up the main keywords of the product. So blue light glasses, so blue lights glasses, and then I'll try to figure out some alliteration that I like. I really try to come up with a business name for my products. That is the best way, in my opinion, to come up with a product name. So Mega Light, blue light glasses. Topic glasses, all these things. Peak blue, blue light glasses. I think that's pretty good. Blue wind. I mean, there are so many great names. So that's what I would recommend for doing the product name and everything like that. Then it's simple. You click on save just like this. Then you're going to select the square, push to Shopify. That's how you import a product. Now, next thing with Cjdropshipping. Let's say we find a specific product that we like. We would scroll down, click on the list icon right here. Then you got to select your specific store. Product type, you can just add a new one. Super easy. Confirm. Same thing with collections, just like this. Vendor, so we'll just do Zen Galaxy or whatever your vendor is. You can just easily add a new one if you don't have one right here. So we're just going to select these different ones, because if you don't, it's going to give you an error. And then the next thing you do is just make sure you select which variants that you actually want to have. Then you select all your variants, and when you're doing a price change like $24.99, it will appear all of them just like this. Then I would make sure to select the best shipping method. For me, I like to do Yoon Express. That is the fastest shipping line from China to America. It's typically like a week to 2 weeks. So that is YTUS, just like that. Then you can click list it now. Super duper simple. That's how you import a product from CJ. Now this next app is my wifey. She's my girl, my lady. I would do unspeakable things to her every single night, finding which buttons to press and how to make her squirm. Wait, whoa. Eli, are we still recording? Jeez Louise, I'm not trying to get a lawsuit right now. I mean, all these gurus are going down and you're trying to keep this footage? Jeez Louise. But this next app is GemPages. I love GemPages. If you are trying to be an expert at your websites or trying to improve your skills with website building, this is the app you need to focus your time on by far, because the templates are already solid enough. But I think the coolest part about GemPages is that you can go into all these different templates and easily copy these elements into a library, then choose one of the templates you really like to put all of these library things into one theme. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. Now, I really like this theme right here. It's got the product title, the reviews, the price. I mean, this is important information that most e-commerce brands will put above the fold. Now, personally, I really would recommend having the add to cart button right around here so that people can immediately click on that as soon as they load in, because most people, and I know this seems very, very me just exaggerating, But right here, as soon as someone clicks onto your website, 100% of people will have access to all the information above the fold. So you should have your product title, reviews, price, add to cart button. Those are the most important things. And I would say when you scroll down just a little bit right here, 90% of people, maybe even less, would actually get that far on the website. And then when you scroll down further, I would say about 80% of people actually get to your first headline. Then scrolling on down, maybe 60%. And then when you scroll all the way down to the footer, I would say around 20 to 30% of your visitors are actually going to get that low. And if you don't believe me, you can download different apps like Hotjar, which I know most people think is just used for seeing where are people clicking, but they also have scroll maps inside of these apps where you can see how far down are people scrolling, what is the percentage of that, so that you can optimize and figure out, oh, people are stopping on the headline and they're not getting lower than that. So my headline is probably something I should consider split testing more. And if I did, that could increase my conversion rate. Or, hey, this add to cart button, let me try moving it higher so that 100% of my visitors are actually seeing it and they're naturally just going to click on it because it's one of the first things they see. And I'm an absolute noob when it comes to website design, but GemPages just makes it so freaking easy. I was able to build this website right here in about 2 to 3 hours. And I know that seems like a lot of time, but I really like the format of this website on mobile. I got my trust badges, I got reviews, I got so many different things. I got my review app at the bottom, frequently asked questions. Now, this obviously needs a bit of work, but with GemPages, like I said, you can take elements from other templates, and I'll show you right here in the library section. You go to my library and you can see, oh, this is a review that I saw from another template, or this is 3 steps to use the product. So I can insert this, it'll show up near the bottom. And as you can see, look at these 3 steps. I can use that to explain my product in such a coherent, fluid way. It looks very professional. Or let's say I'm looking for a section for my trust badges and I saw that in another one of the themes out there. I saved it and then boom, I can insert it into the main theme that I'm working on, and that's where it'll appear. Now, if you're wondering how do I actually save an element that I do like onto the library, super duper simple. You just hover on this row right here. You are going to click on Save Block. Then you would name it, so Trust Badge Section. And then easily, once you pick out the theme that you like the most after saving, you can just import it so easily. And this applies to buttons, layouts, all these different things. This exact photo, I didn't actually have it or find it. I think if I scroll down here, yeah, we can see payment badges, insert, and then bada bing, bada boom. It appears right here, and it's so easy just to drag and drop in these into different sections to customize the product page of your dreams. But the final thing I want to do with GemPages is just show you how to make a very enticing buy now button. And if you want a full GemPages tutorial, let me know in the comments down below. I love building websites. It is incredibly fun for me. I know my page flight tutorial is like 2 hours long, so if you want a GemPages one that's really in depth, I can definitely do that. So for text, I personally like buy now so that people know when they click the button what to do next. Like if it's add to cart, then yeah, have it as add to cart. But for me, when they click this button, I want them to go straight to checkout, which is why it's a buy now button. So when we go here, we can scroll on down. So background color, all this stuff. Let's do red here. And then for text color, we'll definitely keep it white. Now, stretching buttons, I don't really recommend. I typically do about a 250 width, I believe is what I like to do. Maybe a little more actually, 400. Let's try 450. Actually, 500 seems pretty good. Okay, cool. Now, to make it pill shaped, what you have to do is go to border. You have to go to border radius, and then bada bing, bada boom, you're looking pretty snazzy. And then with the text, we're gonna have to make this definitely bigger. So let's go back up here, font size, make it around a 24-ish. And then the final thing we gotta do is add that shadow effect to give that 3D pill-shaped effect. So let's go to shadow. I would do outer shadow 1000% of the time. And typically all you have to do is just add a bit of blur, and then boom, you got your 3D button. Now, the next most vital thing to make sure your e-commerce brand is profitable is making sure that when you get abandoned carts, you have a way of following up with them and trying to recover as many as possible. And by far, my favorite way of recovering abandoned carts is through SMSBump. This is the staple hood of SMS. It is just chef's kiss. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And I've made thousands of dollars with SMSBump at insane returns. It's one of the only apps where you can put $50 in and easily make back $5,000. It is not unheard of to get 1,000% returns because of how cheap it is to send these messages. And when you get a text message, typically the open rates are 70, 80, 90% with the right text message because it's directly to your phone. It's more personalized. And the more personalized your marketing is, the better. So when it comes to actually being compliant though, because that is one sticky spot with SMS marketing, you do want to make sure you read the rules. And for me personally, since I do advertise in the United States only, I can only send one text message every 48 hours. You can actually read these rules. It is in their specific instructions. Limit messages to 3 within a 24-hour period in Florida. But in most states, as you can see right here, you can send the abandoned checkout reminder within 48 hours. But you have to limit your abandoned checkout reminders to 1 per shopping event. So again, read up on the rules. There's different rules with actually opting in as well, and what is the text you need to use, and you need to have your privacy policy and your terms of service, all these different things when they do sign up. So when it comes to your checkout settings, because you typically need to set this up in your checkout, you need to make sure accounts are optional. When you scroll on down, SMS or email is typically how I do shipping updates. Then I do like to have tipping, all this other stuff. SMS marketing, I do like to have this turned on, of course. And then when you download SMSBump, it'll let you know the exact language you need to put in your checkout pages. And typically you have to go to actions, you have to go to edit languages, you have to go then to your checkout page. Scroll on down to phone label, phone number for updates and exclusive offers. You have to update the text. It usually will give you the exact text though. So after you have that all set up, what I like to do, since you can only really send one text message within 48 hours, is I try to maximize the effectiveness of that text message. And you have to do this through having split tests set up. But for me, typically what I do, and this is just what's worked the best for me, is I go to automations, and then after 5 minutes, so that it is top of mind, because anything can happen when someone abandons cart. They could literally get a text from their girlfriend saying, "Hey, I'm done with you. I was cheating on you with Chad Braddington." But before you have an epic battle with Chad Braddington, we still need to try to get this person to actually purchase your product. So for me, I like to do hello first name. We noticed there were some items left in your shopping cart. So I give them a reminder about their shopping cart. Then I always will give them a discount code. So save 10 or my slim waist 10, whatever your brand name is, 10 to give them 10% off. And you can easily set these up in your discount code section of Shopify. But yes, I do a reminder, then discount code. Make sure you have your abandoned checkout URL. And again, for compliance, you need to have a stop to opt out option. Otherwise, you're risking it a little bit. And since I've had the chance to work with larger e-commerce brands, the SMS campaigns, oof, those are deadly. I mean, you can make thousands of dollars with one text message, especially during sales. Like July 4th just happened. So if you had 20% off everything as a major July 4th sale, you can easily enter your campaign name. So we can do July 4th sale. I know this is going to be heavily dated. Include your audience. So let's say all tech subscribers, just like this. Then you just write out a very simple text message just saying, "Hey, first name, happy 4th of July. Everything on our site is now 20% off. Click here to get access to this sale." It could be that simple, and you can get thousands of dollars, and you should be trying to leverage and get as much money as possible from these NPCs on your text message list. Man, I'm just joshing you. They're obviously real people. But when it comes to the email automation, I recommend always using a very simple app. I know Klaviyo can be a little bit too complex for beginners, but if you do have a brand and you are looking to actually build out your email flows, your automations, your welcome series, your post-purchase series, yes, Klaviyo is 100% the best email marketing app out there. But if you are a beginner, I would recommend just having one flow set up, especially when you're just testing products, and that's your abandoned checkout flow. And with this Abandonment Protector app, I've just noticed that the send through rates, the likelihood of your email to not go into spam, is a lot lower when you're using something like this. So these were the exact emails I used for My Slim Waist, and I scaled this brand to 80 grand a month just having 3 simple emails, and this recovered about 9 to 10% of my abandoned carts. Now with the first email, I did this 8 minutes after someone abandoned checkout. Did you leave something behind? Very straightforward to the point subject line. Obviously you should be split testing different subject lines to see which one generates you the most money, but for me, that is the one that generates the most revenue. Now, obviously logo, this is something you can have if you like. I just keep it super simple to try to limit the amount of HTML, because if you have all these fancy graphics and images and everything like that, the more HTML, typically the more likely that Gmail and all these different email providers think that the email is a spam, and it will label it as spam, and that will kill your open rates. And the major thing you're trying to do with these emails is get them open. Make sure they're actually in the main inbox. So I would keep it super simple. You can model this. Now for the second email, hey, here's our discount code. So you can do 10% off, 15% off. Keep the language incredibly simple. Have the branding on your website. So if you have a pink brand, make sure everything is pink. Then the third email, hey, your discount's about to expire soon. This code's not going to be available forever, giving them that urgency. And this email right here has converted incredibly well. I've had this same email for years because it works. Now, if you are going to be successful in e-commerce, you're obviously going to need a proven reviews app to display your best social proof so that people that are skeptical of your product, your benefits, your claims can see the social proof and see real people reviewing your product and actually saying that, hey, these benefits that this shady company has mentioned actually are real. This did help me. So my personal favorite app right now is LAI Product Reviews. I know a lot of dropshippers use Luke's. Now, there is a theory that whenever a lot of dropshippers use an app, that will lower the credibility because a lot of people will recognize that as a dropshipping store. Now, I don't really subscribe to that theory. I personally just use LAI because it is a better option than Luke's. With Luke's, you can't customize reviews after they have been published, but with LAI, you can do that. And the most important thing is that you can import reviews from Amazon for your exact product. So if you are selling this fake rock, which honestly, if you're not selling this, I mean, the margins are probably great problem solver, but you can easily copy the link, go into the reviews section. You just click your product that you want to add reviews to. So let's go to our product section. We'll just click on here. You click on reviews, import from Amazon just like this. You select your product, paste the link just like this. Now, personally, I like to do just reviews with photos because those really showcase how the product looks. And when you just have text reviews, that doesn't give you the full story. And people, I mean, what I'm buying, when you're buying, you love to see actual pictures of people holding the product, showing, does it actually work? Did it come broken? Is it high quality, etc. So again, reviews with photos are the way to go. 3 stars and up is the way as well. Then I like to import, and typically you might change the dates around to make sure they're actually more recent, like 2019. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but let's do, 06/12, 2022, 2022. Let's just fix that up right here. And then you can easily change the dates. You can change the name of the person. So I know sometimes Amazon has specific usernames, so it might be
The Distinguished Shopper 69, yes.
but you can change it to anything you want. So you can change it to Ethan, 5 stars just like this, or 4 stars. And personally, when you're doing your reviews and testimonials, you want to make it seem as authentic as possible. So you should have a mix of 4 and 5 star reviews. You should have reviews mentioning also some of the faults of your product, some of the shortcomings, because every product is not perfect. There is no perfect product out there. So if you want to be real and increase your conversion rate with your testimonials, then you have to include the negative as well. So it's super easy to customize these whole reviews. So if you want to include major talking points, you can easily do that. If you want to talk about fast shipping, then yes, you can easily do that as well. So I love this app. You just click on save to import the reviews just like this. Click on approve, bada bing, that has been added to your product page. And even after it's been added, and let's say you made a mistake, you can go to the reviews just like this, click on it, and still edit it after it's been published. And let's say there's a review you've been working on and you want to pin it to the top. You just click on more actions, pin that bad boy, and geez Louise, Uncle Ethan is going to help you make trillions of dollars. I mean, geez Louise, I should start an OnlyFans account. That is how much you guys owe me with the amount of value I'm giving in this video. But if you can leave a like, that also helps as well. Now, if you want to scale your e-commerce brand from $0 to $100 a day, or from $100 a day to $1,000 a day, you need to know what levers to push and what split tests to conduct to improve your conversion rate, because you can always improve your conversion rate. I don't care if you're at 4%, 5%. It is possible to get to a 7% conversion rate when you are testing the right things. Now, what is a split test, and how do we actually do a proper split test to know if it was statistically significant, that it actually made a positive or negative impact on our store? Well, you can do plenty of split tests, and the most important ones are always going to be at the top of your product page. And the reason why is because as you scroll down, about 80% of people are actually going to get this far on your website, to that first headline. And I know that sounds like one of those facts online that is about how 66% of facts online are fake, and even that one is fake as well. But I can guarantee, through just looking at Hotjar, through looking at all these different apps, people will not scroll down past your headline a lot of the times. So above the fold is typically where you want to do a lot of your split tests, whether that's moving your buy now button to be the first thing people see, moving your product title down, moving your variants below your buy now, changing the buy now button to a different color, or having a different animation, having different product images. So maybe the first product image, you want to split test that, so when someone lands on your page, it's a UGC image. Or maybe you want to have a GIF or a video at the top of your product page as well that explains how to use your product or how it works. So you can do so many different split tests, but I see that most people, after they've done the change, they don't know how to measure the success. And a lot of times you can use apps like Neat A/B testing to split test different product pages and different prices, because again, price is one of the things that appears above the fold. People want to see different offers, and you never know what's going to be the right offer until you split test, because 99% of the time, the first offer you have is not going to be the right one. Yet people don't split test it. They just assume, okay, the price is working,
Then I can never ever split test it. I can't risk upsetting my customers. They're used to $35.99. If I do it $32.99 or $39.99, I mean, there's going to be riots in the street. I'm going to get canceled on Twitter. But you have to do this to know how it changes your conversion rate and figure out what is this sweet spot, that Goldilocks, too hot, too warm, right in the middle. So with Neat A/B testing, it does make it easy. I would say the one bad thing about it
is you can't do split tests for, I believe, longer than 24 hours. And that's just not enough time. I would say a proper split test needs about a week or 2 weeks to really analyze, because 1 week can be better than another week. So if we go right here, let's see all the different things we can split test. So let's do product attributes. So we can click on a specific product just like this, and we can split test the different prices. We can split test the title, and typically with titles, you want this to be 65 characters or less, so it's super easy for people to read. Then when you scroll on down, so we got all these different variants. Compare at pricing, obviously you want to make sure you have some sort of sale going on most of the time when you're doing e-commerce. Then we scroll on down, so yes, 24 hours is the most you can do the test, but you can send about 50% of your traffic to your normal product page, which the price might be $24.99. Then you can split test $29.99 as the split test. Then you just click on start test. You can choose to do this at midnight of the next day. So we click on this little schedule icon, do this, go to 0, and then you can click on start test later and your test will begin. But personally, I actually would recommend just having 7 days where you have your price at a specific number. So let's say it's at $35.99. Then the next week you just change it. You just go to your product section, change it to $29.99. Then you look at your analytics over those 7-day periods and you see, okay, when was my conversion rate higher? That's pretty much the best way to do the split test. You just make the changes already. You have 100% of your traffic go to it. You analyze week by week. You see where is the conversion rate dipping and where is it improving. And you should only change one thing every week so that you know that's the independent variable. Because if you change 4 things or you do a complete site rebrand, you can't attribute, you can't figure out what it was the actual thing that made the difference. Because maybe changing the price from 35 to 32 increased your conversion rate by 20%. But when you change the buy now button from pink to black, that actually lowered it by 5%. But you can't know if you don't have it as an independent variable. Now, as advertising on TikTok and Facebook becomes more competitive and CPMs begin to rise, you need to increase your average order value to compete in 2022. And one of the best ways to do that is having a post-purchase upsell app like Zipify one-click upsell. Now, if you really want to optimize and find the right offer, you have to be doing split tests on these offers. Now, for me, I had this waist trainer funnel where basically when someone added my hero product, my main product right here, it would go straight into the checkout section, customer completes checkout, and I would give them an offer of the same exact product at a discount. So the first thing I did is I split tested 25% off versus doing the same amount as a dollar amount saved to see what converts better. And I know that seems like such a minuscule test. That's the exact same offer. It's just phrased in a different way. But this split test right here on top, after running it for 2 weeks, actually earned me $3 per person that saw that offer, compared to on the bottom one with $10 saved, it only made $1.60. So I stopped the split test and I made sure to stick with 25% off, but it doesn't stop there. Once you identified, okay, maybe this is the offer that's working right now, why don't I try doing 25% off versus 30% off to see if I'm making more money? Or maybe you'll go into this page right here, you'll change the colors. Maybe you should do a pink or a green for the pay now button and see if that increases conversion rate. So you constantly have to be split testing, but you can't do it every single day. It has to be over a statistically significant amount of time, which for me is doing it for about 2 weeks. And with one-click upsell, you can do a 50-50 where 50% of your traffic goes to one page and 50% goes to the other. That's what I personally prefer doing. So I would recommend always split testing. Even when you've done one split test, do a second one, do a third one. You can always make more money through having these. But the first most important thing is obviously make sure you have some sort of thing set up like this where you're doing upsells. And then maybe if people don't want more of what you've already sold them, you can do a downsell of your second or third most bought product. And then you just do another discount offer. So you can do 15% off, 20% off that second most important one. You can do different languages. You can customize the text of it. You can customize the offer. You can have a countdown timer versus no countdown timer. You can customize the color of this. You can have maybe no variants right here. There are so many different things. And I know it seems so small, but just changing one thing can be a world of difference. Just because you can't see it and it's not the biggest thing on your screen doesn't mean it's not going to make a huge difference. I mean, literally just getting rid of your countdown timer or having a countdown timer with urgency could increase your conversion rate by 5 to 10% on your downsell offers. And you should have downsell offers as well to increase your AOV. And I would say the AOV that brands will need to succeed with dropshipping and e-commerce in general is about $67. So if your AOV is below that, you need to be thinking of more upsells post-purchase to get people to buy more. And personally, like I said, you can try out doing pre-purchase upsells. They have the option after someone adds to cart, you do a little upsell. I've split tested it, and for my own test, I've noticed that it did lower the amount of money I made. All right, everyone, buckle in. We're at the home stretch. Ethan's almost done rambling about his favorite apps. Okay, so the next one, Crush.Pics. Now, why should you have an app like Crush.Pics on your website? Well, it helps you increase your site speed. And when you're advertising on TikTok, where everything is super fast, maybe you're even watching a TikTok of this clip, you need to make sure when someone clicks onto your website, when they give you the time of day to read more about your product, that your site instantly loads as fast as possible, because people are not willing to wait 5 seconds, 7 seconds, 10 seconds. And typically for every second it takes for your website to load, from 4 to 5 seconds, that is usually a decrease from 10 to 15% of the traffic that you would have had if you just increased the site speed. So with an app like this, what it does is it takes all the images on your website, all the GIFs, everything that you have, and make sure to compress them without losing the quality, which basically means the images will be smaller. And because they are smaller, that means it takes less time to load. So you can go into here when you're setting it up, you can do balanced, then we go right here, you just select your plan, and then it will go into every single one of the images that you want to upload. So let's say for your main product page, you have about 100 plus different images. It can easily compress all of those. It can save about 20 to 30% on the size, which will help increase your site speed. And then the final app you're going to need is something to track all of your expenses. Now, for me personally, I love BeProfit because you can connect all of your different marketing channels like TikTok, Google, Facebook, so we can calculate the exact ad spend and see where you're actually getting your conversions from, your ROAS. And I've had plenty of videos in the past that I will throw up right now when I was scaling my Slim Waist, and it had all the different data from, oh, I made 80,000 revenue. This is the exact profit I made. Here are the different expenses with processing fees, with refunds, with taxes. There are so many different expenses you're not aware of when you are really scaling a brand, because you're not thinking about processing fees. No one thinks about that. So it's great to have an app like this, which will break down all the numbers and will explain where that money is going, or if you're actually making more money than you've actually imagined. And the way it does that is you put in your COGS. So if you're selling something for $35, you tell BeProfit what your supplier cost is. So if it's $8, you just put that in there. You put in all the numbers about processing fees and everything like that, and it calculates every single day automatically what your daily profit is, your daily revenue, cost of goods, etc. So having something like that is incredibly powerful for tax season and just knowing if your brand is in the red or in the green.